MLH Media. We're over here waiting alongside as we await Ben Jones, the corner of Mr. Ethyn Ewing, after his victory over Malcolm Wellmaker over there at UFC 322 this past weekend over there in Madison Square Garden. And we'll be looking to talk to the Yorba Lindiv native as he awaits to go ahead and hop onto the call. Hope everybody is doing well today. Just wanted to go ahead and hop onto the YouTube stream here a little bit early before we go ahead and get into things here. We're just still waiting. My guy Ben Jones, go ahead and hop into the call here. Like I said, hope everybody's day has been going well. Ben, how you doing, my man?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Pleasure to get to speak to you today. How has everything been, man? I mean, it's been quite the, I would say 48 hours, but it's been like the past week, 2 weeks have been insane for you, Ben. How have it been?
It's been good, man. It has been a little bit of a whirlwind, but this one definitely a bigger stage for like a short notice thing like this. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's constantly being prepared, constantly being ready, both not only the fighters but me also.
So speak about this just I'm from your perspective as a coach, Ben, because you had, I would say, one of the most in like you were the gentleman that had to give Ethan the call. It's from the
Right.
interviews and from all the research that I was doing. How did this all go down? Can you kind of give your perspective behind the whole process and behind everything that went down before all the action went down Saturday night?
Yeah, so Thursday, it was pretty crazy. What actually happened is I dropped my youngest son off at school and I was driving to the gym to teach women's cardio kickboxing at like 8:05, 8:10. I get a text from our management, Iridium, and they're like, "What's his weight? There might be an opportunity." And I was like, "I get he's probably in the high 150s." I'm like, "When's it for?" They're all 2 days from now. And I was like, "Oh shit." And I was like, "Well, let me get on the phone. Let me see where he's at." But it's a yes. And I just said yes right from the beginning. I didn't know the opponent. I didn't know anything. I just said it's a yes. They're all okay. We're working on it. So I call him, wasn't answering his phone. Right. I called him like 4 times. I'm texting him. Uh, no answer. I thought he was actually on the job site. I thought he was working in downtown LA. He's a safety guy on construction spots. He has his own business, him and his dad. So I couldn't get a hold of him. And I'm like, crap. So I call his dad and I'm like, hey, where's Ethan? This and that. He's like, I don't know. I tell him what's going on. I'm like, call his wife, call everybody. And then I'm just waiting for the call back. I'm in my class teaching all these, house moms and stuff, I'm telling them if I got to take a call, like I'm going to leave this class. They're like, every time my phone rings or the text message notification goes off, they're screaming, go check it. Finally calls me back. He's like, let's do it. I'm like, I already said yes. So shit, we're in it. Now we're just waiting for them to agree to say yes to us, you know. And I was worried that the more time that went on, somebody was going to say yes, because I know that we're not the only ones they're calling. And then he came in, we started cutting weight. I had him like light sparring, rolling around, wrestling a little bit with plastics on, cutting weight, sent him to the sauna. As soon as pro practice was over, then I think we got the notification around like 12:30. Boom, had to go do some meds, pick up my kids from school, get them to somebody to watch them, and get to the airport, man.
Wow. I mean, you had my heart racing based
Yeah.
off of that. That's absolute insane. And then on top of that, he's having to go and get these medicals. He's having to go and get all this stuff done in LA, mind you. I mean, that's probably one of the most. We were just talking about him being in New York City, but it has to be just as hectic over there right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, and we're from Orange County. You know what I mean? So we're like deep Orange County, almost like towards the edge of Corona. So first of all, we
Yorba
were
Linda,
trying to find
correct?
doctors, that would do these tests that New York asked for and California doesn't. So getting doctors to agree. I mean, I called every amateur promoter, every pro promoter I knew to get a favor and get us into medicals, and the UFC ended up finding somebody for us to do them, but it was at two different spots. And not only that, like we had to pack. I got to figure out what I'm doing with my kids, and and he's got a pregnant wife at home, so it's there was a lot of juggling and a lot of stress, you know, but we got it done.
Yeah, you definitely got it done. Speaking about the job that you guys were able to go ahead and do into the cage, let's talk about before you even get into the cage. Everybody's been talking about it. I've been knowing about it. I've been posting about it. The Ben Jones pre-cage slaps, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what has that done for your fighters, and what do you believe separates you as a coach and being in that corner? I mean, the comments will go more into the actual cage work itself, but I feel like you
Mhm.
as a coach, it's one of a kind, man, the way that you're able to inspire athletes.
Yeah, I come from a long line. I mean, I was a professional athlete for over 20 years, from professional football to fighting. And, I've been an athlete my whole life. The slap actually didn't start with me. It started with a teammate of mine named Jay Martinez, who's like a local legend of fighting, fought professionally over 20 years. He's a 50-year-old man that'll walk into any gym and pretty much kick everybody's ass. He's a stud. It started with him back when we all used to train together at CSW, and we were on the CSW fight team. And then the tradition just got passed down. And then when I took over as the head coach, then we really made it a thing. Everybody called it the Badger slap. Everybody wanted it. There's a reason I do it, and it stems back from like when I played football, where at the beginning of each game there's nerves, there's all kinds of stuff. But if you can run down on that first kickoff and get that first crack in, like you're like, oh shit, all right, well let's go, let's play. And it was sort of the same mentality with the pre-fight slap. Like some guys slap their guys light, but and I don't do it crazy hard. It looks hard. I mean, it definitely wakes you the fuck up. But at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about what that first hit's gonna feel like. You're already sort of stinging. You that blood rush. That blood is rushing to your face. Like you feel it, and the fight's already started. So like there's no wonder about what it's gonna feel like to get hit hard, because I slapped the shit out of him.
I was just gonna say I was so upset. I missed the one at A1 Combat 32 when we were
Oh
both
yeah.
together in the same building. I was having to do the post-fight interviews, and I was just thinking, man, I missed the pre-slap, dude. I always get to enjoy those.
Yeah, everybody always asks her like, "Hey, will you give me one?" I'm like, "You don't want one. You don't,
No.
you don't understand how it feels. I mean, it's not like it's gonna knock anybody out. Like I know what I'm doing, but people think they want one until you got to earn it. And then when you don't get it anymore, you miss it. Trust me, I miss getting slapped before fights.
Was Dana possibly looking over there in the corner with a little bit of an eye, like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna have to give this guy a power slap contract after what he was able,
I
what
got
he
I
was
got
putting
I
up
got I
over
got
there."
no interest in power slap. I got no interest in any of that. I like the one being the one doing it, not the one receiving it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Speaking a little bit about your efforts though in the cage, I mean, that was some of the best coaching that I think a lot of people have heard. I mean, you often hear a lot of criticisms about UFC corners, the UFC coaches. Who the heck is coaching these guys? I don't think there's any doubt about the cornering and the coaching of Ethyn Ewing. Can you just kind of talk about the game plan and how you guys were able to go ahead and it seemed so well prepared on only not only 48-hour notice, but I mean, you're a week out from a championship fight over there against Billy Brand, A1 Combat 32. That was also a very big fight in Ethan's career. Can you just kind of talk about just keeping prepared and how it was behind the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, to touch on that first thing about the coaching level. Look, I'm an elite level coach. This is not my first time in the UFC. This is not my first time at high level fights. I mean, people seem to forget that I did the same thing with Curtis Millender. I took him coming off a 2 to 3 fight losing streak when I started coaching him. And then we went on a X amount run right to the UFC. We fought Thiago Alves, UFC legend, our first fight, and he knocked him out with a knee and we won the bonus. So this ain't my first rodeo. Ethyn is my fifth guy in the UFC, my fifth fighter coaching multiple times in the UFC. So it wasn't new to me. And I think that really helped with us going there because when it's on 48 hours notice, you almost have like no time to really worry about the magnitude of what you're about to step into. But because I had been there, because I had done this, I could tell like Ethyn and the other corners like, all right, this is what we're going to expect when we get there. Like everything's going to be taken care of. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises for them. So I hope it made them feel a little bit more comfortable with what was about to happen. As far as the preparation, you know, Ethyn did his own studying, and he had known who he was before, as had I. I mean, we've obviously I watch all the fights, all the weight classes. I'm always like trying to figure out like, okay, if I was to fight this dude, what would I do? As far as like have one of my fighters fight him, and the second I thought that this was going to be a possibility, I started studying. And I'm the type of coach like I come from a football background, so for me, film study and film breakdown is second nature. I'm obsessive about it. I want to know as much as I can about the person that we're going to fight so that I can relay that to my fighter. I can come up with a real strategic game plan. Even in a short time like that. Like I watched everything on this dude from his first, second pro fights to the fights in the UFC, which were quick and hard to really evaluate. But then I'm on his Instagram. I'm watching him hit mitts. I'm watching him grapple. I'm watching him wrestle. Like what tendencies does he have? I'm trying to find his gym. I'm going to their page. I'm trying to find little clips that he doesn't know are posted. So I'm doing everything from my end. And I know that Ethyn was doing the same, his boxing coach trying to pick up on tendencies too. And then as far as the preparation for it, my whole thing with Ethyn was this is just another fight. You know what I mean? And I said this to him in the back. I said this to him as we're walking out. Look, it's just another cage. It's another cage and it's another man. Like when that fight starts, it's not going to matter what gloves you're wearing, what UFC shorts you're wearing, who in the crowd is watching. It's not going to matter because you're going to be so dialed in on that fight that let's just go out there and do it. Like we'll worry about what happens afterwards. But first of all, we got to go out there and fight. So it was just constantly remind him like doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where we're at. Doesn't matter that we're in Madison Square Garden. It's fucking awesome. But like let's think about that after. Let's just go out there and do what the fuck we do, which is dominate people and fight. And then, when it came to the coaching while it was going on in the middle of the fight, Malcolm actually said some really nice things to me after the fight. He was like, "Damn, coach, you were freezing me." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's what I do, like through preparation." Like I had picked up on some of his tendencies and they were making a big deal about my voice and how loud my voice was, but it's not only for my fighter, right? Like my voice is loud so that they're listening to me, right? And when they start listening to me, they're not listening to their corner. Then they're trying to figure out what I'm saying. And you might know this from listening to me, for so many fights is everything I do is coded, right? There's codes to everything, but I also have dummy codes, right? I'm also talking to my guy But I'm talking about Wellmaker, and I'm like, he's going to do this now. And now he hesitates. And when he hesitated, that was our plan. Look, when I freeze him and he hesitates, go. Just go. Do something. I don't care what you throw. But every time he's thinking, we need to be fighting. And when he's fighting, we need to be moving, slipping. And Ethyn is so good at us following instruction. And, people don't seem to realize that Ethyn and I have been together since the beginning. We have this rapport where, like, I don't really have to say too much, and he understands what I want. So I can, like, change things up in the middle of fight code wise, or we made eye contact a couple different times. And, he's just really good. He was very calm and very relaxed. And when you have a coach and a fighter that are working together like that, they're very hard to beat.
And I was just about to. I'm glad that you actually kind of covered a couple of the questions that I was just about to ask you. I was going to say you and Ethyn have been together for quite some time. You also had his father in your corner over there. That
Mhm.
that bond has got to be something different, right? Do you feel that also had a lot to do with the performance and how much success you guys were able to go ahead and see over there in New York?
Yeah, I don't think that it's just New York. I think it has really happened throughout his entire career. I mean, undefeated amateur career, went out there, had 2 losses, but people don't realize that we took our first 2 fights. We took a LFA fight against a wrestler from Iowa who was undefeated on about 5 days' notice, also. That nobody wanted
And
to
got a
fight.
knockout.
No, no, no. He lost that fight. He lost that fight.
Oh,
We were that was his very first pro fight. Uh, we and that guy was on there. That guy was just recently on the Ultimate Fighter. And we were arguably, I think we could have won that fight because we were beating the shit out of that guy. And then our second fight, he lost again. He got caught in a little leg lock. It was a little bit of like over. He wasn't thinking that much, and he sort of rushed into a situation that he didn't really need to. And then there was some regrouping starting your career 0-2, your pro career, and he had to think about a lot of things. And I talked to him, and I'm sure he talked to his family and his girlfriend at the time, now his wife, and it just had to be like almost like a coming to Jesus moment, you know. And ever since then, he's changed. He's a guy I don't worry about as far as like, is he doing enough? I know he's doing enough. He has a tendency sometimes to do a little bit too much of one thing or not, but it's only because he loves training and he wants to be prepared. And he's balancing all of this with a full time job, his own business, which is crazy. So
it's insane.
he he's an absolute pleasure to coach. I wish they were all like that.
No, and it's beautiful to hear, especially because I know that you have a gym over there in Yorba Linda, California, correct? The
Yeah,
Den Training Center.
the Den Training Center. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just wanted to make sure to go ahead and let all the people out there know, just in case you want to go ahead and get some of those slaps in. If you ever did want to go into the cage, Ben Jones does got you over there. But no, I really did want to go ahead and highlight and make sure
I
to make a
appreciate it.
note of that relationship between you guys. But also thank you for correcting me. I was talking about the LFA 200 bout, but that was in Minnesota, correct? Minnesota was
Yeah,
where
that
you
was
guys had
that
it
was
done.
the last one before we fought Billy.
Yes, yes, that was
2 weeks
quite
ago.
the
That was
performance
our
as
last
well.
one. Yeah, we won a performance on that head kick knockout against a guy that obviously the UFC was looking at too. And then, when we fought Billy at A1, he was a great opponent too. And then we went in and sparked him, which, hasn't happened ever before. So Ethyn was ready. He was more than ready. And like, people were talking about Wellmaker. Wellmaker's fighting all these guys, these high level guys. Well, I really didn't think a lot of them were that high level in comparison to Ethyn. I thought they were good. Obviously, they're in the UFC, they're good, but I thought probably Ethyn's last 4 opponents were all on the radar of the UFC. He's we haven't taken any easy fights, right? And whereas I haven't necessarily done that with all my guys, with Ethyn, I know his level and I know his preparation level and I know where he's at. So I was always like, yeah, we'll fight him. Yeah, 100%. We'll fight him. I mean, we stepped in to fight Bruno, who was going to be the champion, and we didn't have a second thought about it. And I've cornered against Bruno before, and that's a hard puzzle to figure out. But we said yes, and then obviously something happened, so he pulled out, and then we got Billy, and it just goes on from there.
No, and that's a lot of experience, especially Bruno Souza. He has a lot of fights on his record, so definitely a hard puzzle to go ahead and try and figure out. But just the last questions for you over here, Ben. I really do appreciate your time. I know, like how you
Of
said,
course.
it's been super busy, been super packed in, but I really appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and speak to me on this beautiful Monday. But I took a little bit of a peek at your Instagram. I've been following you for some time. We've been in the know, man. I know you're a
Right.
big football guy. I know we aren't going to talk about Las Vegas Raiders. We aren't going to talk about that. I know it's been a rough
That's
subject.
a
We aren't
sore
going to talk
subject
about
to
that
me.
right now. That's a sore subject for me too, brother. I understand. But we will talk about your boy because I think some of that Jones bloodline has trickled down. He's a middle linebacker, a quarterback, and a tight end. I mean, absolute unit on the football field. Your boy is.
Well, I got two sons. Both of them are just they're freaks. You know, I when I got done playing pro football and I started fighting, I lost my love for football. You know, I spent my whole life chasing that dream of playing pro football, and I got to play. I got to play in the Arena League, and then I played in the CFL for the Toronto Argonauts. And then when I got released, got cut from the last team, I turned it off, and I was like, I'm never going back to that sport again. It took my heart. Then I had my kids, and my kids wanted to play, so I've coached them in flag football since they were both 4 years old, and had a blast. And then I got talked into letting them play tackle football this year, and then my older son Jake. Um, the coaches found out about my football background, and I've coached high school around here back in the day, and I had quite a bit of success at it. So then they talked me into coaching, and then my younger son Lincoln, who's a lot like me, I let him play. So one of them's playing 8-year-old 8U. My older one Jake is playing 11U. So I coached Jake's team, and he did great. He's quarterback, middle linebacker, tight end, and then Lincoln was a quarterback and a middle linebacker. And then Lincoln just exploded on the scene. He scored in 10 games. He scored like over 28 touchdowns. He's he's by far the best player. So we played for Yorba Linda Pop Warner. I think he's the best player on any age group of anybody. I mean, he's just a freak, you know. And now we're playing. We won California. Now we're playing for the West Coast Championship this Saturday. His coaches have actually asked me to help come coach now too, so I'm helping their team coach. And then if they win Saturday, then we go play the Super Bowl in North Carolina. So yeah, we're
Oh
pretty excited.
my.
Not bad for a bunch of 8-year-olds. They got really good coaching staff, but it's pretty fun again, to watch my kids play football and to get to help.
That's so awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that you're getting that love for the game back. And if it's not coming from the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm glad it's coming
Yeah,
from your
somebody.
boys over
Then
there.
right here, the
Somebody's
Yorba
got to
Linda
fill it.
Colts. Yeah,
That's awesome, man. No, that's absolutely amazing. Well, best of luck to you guys on your championship game on Saturday. I'll be cheering you guys on all the way
I
over here from the
appreciate it.
Central Valley, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to go and you can make your second trip to the East Coast in like a matter of what, a month?
Yeah,
Or
lots of flying. Sacramento, New York, now over to North Carolina. It's fun though. I'm doing what I love to do. I'm getting to spend time with my kids. I'm getting to spend time with my fighters. It truly is my two passions in the world is fighting and spending time with my children. My wife is awesome, so I get to do what I love to do. People talk about it in the world like you're going to be most happy if you do every day what you truly love to do, and that's literally my life right now. So that's fucking great.
I think that's a great way to go ahead and end off this call here, Ben. If there's anything else that you want to go ahead and shout out, I know you have your gym. Anything else you want to go ahead and end off this call with here today, my man?
No, I'm really proud of my fight team. Obviously, I'm super proud of Ethan, his boxing coach Dale Roybal, his dad. Thank you guys for being there with the fight for me. Um, yeah, and to everybody, like if you want to get elite level coaching, you know where to come, and you're in Southern California, right? The Den Training Center is the place to be, and my doors are always open.
Make sure to go ahead and follow the Den Training Center or the Badger Jones on Instagram. Go ahead and show my guy Ben Jones some love. I really, really appreciate you hopping on the call, being able
Of
to go
course,
ahead and
Michael.
talk down, break down all the action. Michael Hernandez, MLH Media, sign out with my guy Ben Jones over there in Yorba Linda, California.